I welcome you to another episode of Learn with Your Coach. In our session today, we would talk about goals the smart way. Now, before I go on further talking about this particular topic, I just want to narrate a small story here. Basically, this has two objectives. One, to give you a little bit of context, also to help you understand how a simple tool like a goal can help you immensely. So the story goes like this. I had, in fact, recently a client who came to me, and this lady, while we were discussing her issue at length, when the very mention of this term goal came into our conversation, she was a little irritated, a bit annoyed, and she wanted another term for it. In fact, so we gave it another term, but while we digged deeper, I understood from all that she narrated that goals, basically, she comes from a corporate background, and uh, in many of the performance appraisals, which are very common across where people work, whether you work for a government organization or a private one, setting goals, being evaluated on goals is something very, very common. Now, for this client of mine, she basically had real bad experiences, especially in her appraisals, to the extent that she didn't wanted this particular term to be used. So, why am I putting the story here? Is basically to let you all know that sometimes, with our negative experiences related to a particular term, we might consider it to be applicable to everything, which actually is not the case. You can be anybody, not necessarily you are from a corporate, you are working, you can be a homemaker, you can be a student, you can be anyone, and you can still have goals. So for her, it was the negative connotation she carried with this term because of her past experiences. So I brought that story in to let you know that goals are for everyone. These are one of the very, very effective way of getting started on personal growth and development, and it can be used by anyone. Believe me, anyone can use it. And in coaching, planning goals is one of the very first steps that we do. It's an integral part of coaching, and not just that, it has immense benefit. So don't go with the concept that goals are only unlike my client who thought goals are only when we are in corporate, or goals is something very tricky or something technical. It's none of that. So basis on this experience, I thought, why not make a learning session with my viewers and my clients so that you could learn. And in this particular session, I picked this topic up where you plan your goals the smart way. And I'll tell you more as we move ahead. So SMART is an acronym. If you've ever been to work, and you may have heard this term many a times, and if you have not been and you're not being somebody who worked in a corporate or anywhere else, this term could be new to you. Nevertheless, this is what it stands for. But what I have done here in this particular session is I've tried making it as simple as I could, because this is what I do with all my clients who come to me for coaching. And this is something very, very powerful, and I want you to reap the maximum benefit from this very simple and powerful tool. And I repeat, you could be anybody, yet you will get benefited from it. So SMART is an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. And though there are innumerable technical terms for it, I've tried to make it very simple. So specific is basically when you plan your goal, you put them on these 5 parameters where it helps you really understand what you're aiming at, how are you going to achieve it, just bit of validation of what exactly you've planned, and then setting a timeline so that you can monitor your progress. So it's a very simple technique yet very powerful. Specifically, the first term, specific, is most about what exactly do you want to achieve. Measurable, again here, how will you know you have achieved? Attainable is a parameter which tests whether it is something you have a control over. Hopefully the goal or aim you have in mind is not something just a whim, just a vision. Sometimes it overlaps. We do have a lot of ideas in our head and we might think them to be a goal. So we need to do a bit of check and balances. This parameters really help you get there. Then in terms of relevance, how it applies to your life, and then in terms of time, if you set a timeline to it, you know your progress, whether you're meeting it, you're missing it. So this is what SMART stands for. Moving ahead, let's do an activity. Since now you know the SMART acronym, I just want you to grab a pen and a paper, and let's just have a look at how this very simple technique of planning a goal can make profound changes and immense benefit in your life. And trust me, friends, you could be anyone. This is something where you can begin with and can reap maximum benefit out of it. So get yourself a pen and a paper and we plan your goal this month. So before we put down our goals, oftentimes people also do get confused as to what kind of goals should I have, and where should I even start or begin with. So here, what I've done here is that there are two things. We just saw the SMART acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, the parameters basis on which we can plan our goals. But even before that, when you pick a key area of life, is where underneath which you can plan a goal. Now this basically gives you a glimpse of where are you heading in life. Because if you put all that I've listed here, you will actually get a very holistic view of where you are headed in life, which area is really lagging behind, where do you really think you need to improve on. So these are the very common and also the key areas of life, like your family. It begins with, or sometimes it's just your partner, the significant other. In relationship, you can further categorize it into acquaintance, friends, or your partner, whoever. And then you have your career, money, health, wellness, happiness, joy. You can add anything if you feel that's something you need to currently work on. So this is not a final list, but these are the very commonly used categories which I have listed here. Like for example, I've not used the term spirituality or development of self like that, because within each category there can be a lot. So it's up to you. But since we are you know just trying to understand how it applies and it helps in our personal growth, this is basically where we begin also in coaching. So when we have our clients and we do our discovery sessions, the second most important thing we do is we set goals, meaning what we want to or desire to achieve along with the client. So you could also do the same. If you haven't ever had goals in your life, pick one area and we do it the smart way. And I'll tell you how. Here on your screen, as you're looking at it, I have taken an example of health and wellness and filled in all of it. I picked it up from uh, one of the person I was working very closely with. So this is to just give you a glimpse of how you could do it. Pick one key area of life. Here I have chosen health and wellness. You can choose health and wellness or anything that you want. And you have to repeat all the 5 parameters for each key area of life, because every area of life will have a goal. So the specific is basically what your goal is. Now, in this particular example, you see that specifically the goal of this person underneath the key area of life of health and wellness is the person wants to lose 5 kgs, but in addition to that also follow intermittent fasting and reduce sugar intake. So this is a club of three things as a goal. You can do that, or you can just be specific about one thing. Then, when it comes to the second parameter of measurable, how well you know you have achieved. If you look at the example on the screen, you would see that the person is stating here, my weight, which will be 5 kg less than the current one. So this person is weighing more, and they will know they have achieved it when they will weigh 5 kg less, followed by reports indicating normal sugar levels and vitamin D. So which means this person may be having a high sugar levels and a low vitamin D levels, which if they follow the intermittent fasting and sugar intake is reduced, this is how they will know. These are the milestones which is going to tell them that yes, they have achieved this goal or made real good progress there. Then the third parameter is about whether they have a control over it, meaning is it realistically possible to attain this goal, and it seems attainable with proper plan and discipline, because to reduce sugar intake you need a lot of discipline. Then the fourth parameter of relevance is about how is this applicable to your life. Now friends, if you really look at this particular parameter, it helps not only plan goals, but somewhere it gives you a deeper why into you have this goal. So sometimes when we are really caught up with a lot of ideas and visions and whims and we think them to be our goal. And in terms of relevance, while this particular parameter, as I was mentioning, it helps understand the applicability of our goals in life. Now, this particular parameter actually is very crucial because it sometimes even help us dig deeper into any particular goal that we have, but we do not fully understand how it is relevant to us, because there are often times in life where we might pick up things basis on either our whim, our caprice, or our own ideas which we just got either influenced by a recent effect, event, or a person, or a book, or a concept we came across. So this parameter, when you put your goal and you measure it and you try and check how relevant it is, it really helps you dig deeper, understand the whys of your goal, and its applicability in your life. And oftentimes, when we come across our goals and we try to check their relevance, there could be areas where you might find, oh, I don't think it's really relevant to me at this point in time. So it's a real good check when you try and measure it against the relevance of it. So this parameter is key. Make sure you spend some time here in terms of anytime you have a goal which you think need to be probed a little more. Then the final one, the time bound, is nothing but a timeline where, in this given example, the person has given it by end of December 2020 when the person planned to achieve this particular goal. So with this example, what I urge you to do is take a pen and a paper, uh, pick up 3 or 5 or even one if you are just a beginner areas of life which I just mentioned in the previous slides, or you can add your own, and against each of them create a similar goal sheet with these parameters of being specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. You can journal it, you can keep it, and keep checking your progress. You will find that even though this tool sounds so simple, it has a profound effect in really bringing that change that you are trying to envision in your life. So try this, my friends, and I'll be very happy to hear back from you how it has been, any experiences that you may want to share. You could just write back in the comments, and you can even reach out to me. My coordinates are, as always, that I give towards the end of the session, which you can see on your screen with my email address and my WhatsApp number. So you could write back to me, share your experiences, or if you need any help, feel free to reach out. So thank you so much, and I hope you will find a lot of valuable insights while you sit and plan your goals. Uh, it's not really about the time when can I have a goal? It's about whenever you feel right. And your first step to self-development, to personal development, to your growth, believe me, begins with a goal. It's like your map. So try to do it. It is simple, it is easy, but the results are real, profound, and good. So I hope you get your desired results and reap as much benefit as I did for myself and also for my clients. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.